Hi everyone, Annie here from Uplifting Studios TV. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to episode number 4, and today I'll be sharing about the fear of judgment and public opinion. This one is definitely one of my biggest ones, one that even today I still have to come back and remind myself that to put aside the opinions of others and really, believe in who I am and stand in my own truth. And I think for me, my personal story when it comes to the fear of judgment and the fear of public opinion is because, growing up in an African family, an African setting, there was always, strict rules in terms of, the kids were always to be seen and not heard, and that you always listened to your elders and you didn't so much so have an opinion. And, that also extended to women sometimes, that women were just to, listen to what the men had to say because the men were the wise ones, they were the guides. And so there was a system, a patriarchy system that was, deeply entrenched growing up. And so as I've grown up and come away from that sort of setting, I found that, quite difficult to not be affected by the judgment of others, because growing up, it was, what did the elders think? What did my older siblings think of this? And I was the one who was to follow everything that everybody said, because I was the baby, I was the little one, I was the one who was the youngest, and so what everybody else who was older than me said kind of went, and so their opinion mattered. And so now here I am as a 40-year-old, mother of 2 and a wife, and still unpacking the fear of judgment, still unpacking that fear of public opinion. But if there's one thing that I have learned that has steered me in a good, straight direction, is the fact that despite what others may think about me or how they may judge me, it is not attached to my worth. That I am worthy regardless of what they say or what they think. I am worthy. My worthiness is intact. And that comes down to knowing who you are and believing that, you are enough. It comes down to embracing your identity and all these things that we've spoken about in previous episodes. So today, as we unpack this whole subject of fear of judgment, I want to provide you with some steps. And today I've gone into greater detail, providing more steps than usual. And I think because this one has had a bit of a tight grip on me, and I just want us to, look at these steps on how we can begin to overcome this fear of judgment and public opinion. And number one is, rather than focus on yourself, begin to focus on, what you can do for others. Volunteer, send a thoughtful, uplifting message to a friend. Intentionally begin to do something good for others. And that, you'll be known as the person who is kind-hearted, the person who is generous, who goes out of their way to do great things for others. And you're not doing this so that you can be known as that person who is doing this, but you're not letting the opinions of others, have a strong hold on you. You're doing good for others, and that is filling your cup as you're doing that. I have a friend who is her love language is definitely one of generosity, and she's so consistent in how she embraces all of us in her circle of friends, in that she is the first one to call, to check up on you. She's the first one to celebrate you. She's there. Like, that is her role in the friendship circle. She's the generous one with her time, with her resources, with steering and encouraging us. And she does that so incredibly well. And I believe she does it intentionally. So intentionally do something nice for others. Number 2, be the change, be the change that you want to see. And I know this one kind of sounds a little bit cliche because we've all had it from Gandhi, be that change that you want to see. But I believe that it's more than that. It's when you're in a setting where people are beginning to speak negatively and it makes you feel uncomfortable. Be the one who actually, calls it out and says, this is not right, or we shouldn't be doing this, or I don't want to partake of this. Don't be part of something that you are makes you uncomfortable, or you feel that you shouldn't be part of. Begin to speak out. So be that change that you want to see. Number 3, focus on learning to love yourself. And I know this is not an easy one, particularly when I speak to some of my clients as a life coach. I come across, a few of them who struggle with loving themselves, and they're like, this is uncomfortable, Annie, I don't want to go there. And by loving yourself, I'm not talking about, taking a bubble bath and, self-care and all that sort of thing. And that's great. That's fantastic. But it's really about changing your internal narrative. What is it that you say about yourself? Changing whatever it is that makes you feel uncomfortable talking about the things that make you feel like you are lovable. And just beginning to change that internal dialogue goes a long way in loosening the grip of that fear of public opinion and judgment. And, just simply enjoy the fact that you are worthy. You are worthy. You should be here. You should take up space. And that's a terminology or a language that I learned throughout my life coaching course, where I learned about occupying space, that you need to occupy space. In other words, you need to be seen, you need to be visible. Whatever kind of work you've been called to do, you can't do it if you are in hiding. You cannot have impact if you're not speaking up. So, it's occupying space and not just occupying it, but doing it unapologetically, because you're not sorry for wanting to make a difference. You're not sorry for wanting to serve in the way that you want to serve. You're doing it because it's more than just for you. It is for others. So, that starts by start to focus on learning to love yourself. Because even when it comes to loving others and pouring into other people's lives, impacting them, you can't do it if you yourself are not grounded in a good space where you do love yourself. So start by doing that. Start by focusing on learning how to love yourself. Next step, number 4, discover the things in life that make you feel most happy and do more of it. So what is it that you enjoy to do? Are you into art? Do you like to draw? Do you like to paint? Are you into crafts and making things in that particular area? With kids are so creative. You give them a set of things and they just begin to create. Their minds are just wanting to do things, constantly. And I found myself as a mom, being drawn into things where, the coloring has now come back, coloring, and then not restricting myself to coloring within the box, because that's how it was growing up. You couldn't color outside. Learning to just free myself and be creative in that way. So what are some of the things that you enjoy doing, and begin to do more of them? Do you like to cook? Do you like to bake? Do you like to sing? Whatever it is, do more of that. Is it calling up your friends and chatting with them and checking up on them? Do more of that, because then the focus is not on others and it's on you doing something. The next one is find like-minded people or groups to connect with. That is so important, to just surround yourself with a little, village, if you like, a group of people who just get you and you get each other and you're on the same, you're on the same wavelength in terms of the things that you're pursuing and the things that you're doing. Surround yourself with that. For me, having a community of like-minded people is what has really sustained me here for the 20 years that I've been here, particularly within the Kenyan community that I've been surrounded with from the very beginning. That has been so grounding. That has been so, fulfilling for me to just have a very similar journey with others, and just to be able to discuss where we are at and, similar challenges and how we're overcoming them. And also for me, being a woman of faith and having that great, belief in God has really grounded me, and being around people who have the same beliefs as well is something that keeps me grounded and reminds me of my worth as well. So really important to find like-minded people to connect with. And choose carefully who you spend most of your time with. Again, because the people we spend most of the time with, they add on to us, they pour on to us. It's like when you are around people who have, a lot of negativity, that negativity gets to you, at some point it begins to act on you. I look at things like, the news. When we consume so much news that is negative, before long, it begins to have an impact on us. And so it's really, really important that we are aware of what we are consuming and who we're spending our time with. Number 7 is believe you were placed on this earth with a unique purpose that perhaps even looks different from anybody else. So you're here on a unique mission, a unique purpose, and only you as an individual can fulfill that. So it is so important to ground yourself in that, ground yourself in the fact that you're here to do something. You're here to do it uniquely, and that it may be different from everybody else, and that's okay. So ground yourself in that. And lastly, choose a positive story. Choose a positive story that you will ground yourself in. Who do you say you are? Who do you say you are? Even when others are saying things that are contrary to what you believe to be, who do you say you are to yourself? Because at the end of the day, what has the strongest pull is what you believe about yourself. So I hope those 8 points have been eye-opening and have helped to loosen that grip of what, the fear of public opinion and judgment may do. But also know that this is a journey. Know that this is a journey, and that these are just a few things that I've listed, and there are several other ways. But know that this is a journey, and perhaps, today the journey is just hearing about the topic and just opening yourself up to learning more about it. And then maybe the next day it's dealing on one thing. Maybe it's loving yourself. Maybe it is choosing a positive story for yourself that you will believe is who you are. It's a journey, and it's a little step-by-step journey. Yeah? So let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know if this is a self-limiting belief that you truly, well and truly identify with. And as usual, I've gotten into greater detail on my blogs. I love to write. And I invite you now to head over to upliftingstudios.com.au and have a read there. And send me a message. You can either email me, hello@upliftingstudios.com.au. I'd really love to hear from you, or just simply, comment on the blog and let me know what you thought. And as always, share. If there's a friend who you think could benefit from this blog, by all means, share it. Thank you so much for having me again and having me speak into your life in this way. And I can't wait until we get together again to share some more uplifting tools. So you take care of yourself and see you next time.